Hello. In this video, I'm going to answer a question that was posted on one of my earlier videos. That earlier video demonstrated how to use some of the built-in methods in the string class. The question that was asked was, if I have a four-word sentence, like this is a demo, how do I take each word and store it into a separate string? To do this, we're going to use four methods that are built into the string class. We're going to use two versions of indexOf and two versions of substring. Now it's good to note that these methods are what we call overloaded methods. Methods that are overloaded are methods with the same name, so we can see indexOf is an overloaded method, but they have different parameters. And that means that when we run the program, Java is smart enough to know which one we need to use based on the parameters. So indexOf is an overloaded method, and substring is an overloaded method. So what we're going to do to take each word and break it apart into the four different words in this sentence is we're going to find the location of each space. So now if I know I have four words, there will be three spaces. So first we'll find the location of each of those spaces, and then we'll use substring in order to grab out each word. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take substring, and my first substring is going to go from 0 to 4. Remember that substring is inclusive in the first index and exclusive in the last one. So it's going to include index 0 but exclude index 4. Then I'm going to use substring, and I will apply substring from index 5 to index 7. And then I'm going to use substring, and I'll go from index 8 to index 9. And then I'll use substring one last time, and since I want to take the remainder of this string, I'm going to use the version of substring that just states the beginning index. And what that will do is take the string from that beginning index just to the end. And so this is the process I'm going to do. So step one, we're going to find the location of spaces. And step two is we're going to use substring to, and we could say, pull out words. So let's take a look at a program here, shall we? So I've actually written this in advance just to avoid any type of indexing errors in the video, to make it a little smoother. And so on the left-hand side here, we have a little program with some outputs to the screen to help us understand what's happening. And on the right-hand side here, we have the actual outputs. So our word here is this is a demo. That's stored in string 1. So we have four other strings in this case. We need a string to store each of the words. Because if we have a sentence with four words, we're going to have three spaces we need to know the locations of. We have three integers to store those locations. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find space 1. And I find space 1 by using the built-in method indexOf, and this method takes a single parameter, which is a character. So the way this method works is it looks for the first instance of that character. So it's going to find the first instance of a space character. And if we look at this as a demo, T is index 0, H is index 1, I is index 2, S is index 3, and the space is index 4. The next step we will take is we'll find the index of space 2. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm looking for the space character, but we're using a version of index that takes two parameters. It takes what we're looking for, the space character, but we're actually specifying where to start to look. So since I've already found the first space, I don't want to find that again. So what I'm going to say is start from the index just past that first space we found. So space 1 stores the location of this space here. So what I'll do is I'll move 1 past it to space 1 plus 1. And then it's going to find, so If this is index 4, index 5, index 6, and we see that the second space is stored at index 7. We apply the same logic and we find that space 3 is located at index 9. And what I've done here is I've printed out the 3 spaces. So if I run this, we see that the first space is located at index 4, the second space is located at index 7, and the third space is located at index 9. Now what I'll do is I'll use that built-in method called substring. So remember, substring, the substring method, which takes 2 parameters, the first integer is inclusive and the second integer is exclusive. So the first word, to grab the first word, I'm going to go from index 0 to space 1. To get the second word, of course, I don't want to have space 1 included in there, so I have to move 1 past position space 1, and then I'll go up to space 2. To get the third word, I don't want the space involved, so I'm going to go 1 past space 2, and then I'll head right to space 3. And finally, to get the last word, I'm going to go 1 past space 3, and it's going to take from position index 1 past space 3 to the end. And then we output each of these words to the screen. So this is a wonderful problem for those of you that happen to be students in high school or maybe even first year university. This is a pretty classic problem, which is a nice way to check to see that you understand how to use these methods. If you want to add a little extension to this, an extension would be to do this with a sentence which you do not know the length or the number of words in advance. So if you want to try this problem but kind of take it to the next level, try and do it where you don't know how many words are in the sentence initially. You are going to have to use some data structures to do this, but this is a great little problem for you to try. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I hope you're having fun programming.